Well, hello everyone, and thanks for being here. Bobby, thanks for being here.
Yeah, always.
Man, what rain. I didn't talk about this yesterday, but man, what rain we had over that weekend. Whew,
Yeah.
Saturday. I was like, I got to a point where mine was backing up to my garage
Oh, yeah.
because I was like, I cleaned that out. As I went out there, there's more leaves that blocked this one thing. So took the leaves out, pushed a lot of water out, and then went back there, took more leaves out, and then it was fine. It's one of those things. We have so much of our backyard going through one of those drain pipes that,
Gotcha.
yeah, it can't back it. And then one downspout goes to it. And then I didn't realize our front one hits the driveway, and then that goes back to the trough and then into it. I'm like, okay, that's got to change this year.
Yeah.
But other than that, and then the rain, yes, just got rain and rain and rain coming.
Yeah, I feel like we were living in Washington State, man.
Well, I thought, I felt it was like 95, 96 again. We had floods down in Ceres and Modesto. Yeah. Well, we had the one on 99 over the weekend. I don't know if you saw that picture.
No.
99 was blocked from Grant Line Road up to whatever. It was flooded.
No kidding.
Yeah. It was closed most of the day yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. You started in the evening and the night, and then people got stuck, and unfortunately someone passed away because they drowned in it. So yeah, be careful out there is all I'm getting at. Because Friday I had a show and I'm like, okay, they're saying there's potential flooding. So if you're anywhere close to that, be careful. And man, we had more rain than they said we were going to have.
Well, it just never stopped, right?
Right. No, they said we're going to have like 4 inches, maybe 5 to whatever. And it was 7 to 8 inches in those places. And it's like, wow. Yeah. And guess what? It's going right out to sea. But next. No storage areas to keep it all in.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Oh, of course it would be, but we'd be living in a different time.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't have anything to run on next campaign cycle, right?
Well, then they would have water to put the forests out.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't burn because they were cleaning it too at the same time. But anyway, enough about my political views. I'm just kidding. It's just, again, all this has to do with owning a home because you need water for homes, or crops, and that's important. So if we run out of water for either one of those two, town dies, and it's important. So all this stuff is important when you own a home.
Yeah. Well, and where they decide that they want to send that water to, right? Because certain people have priorities on who they think should be getting the water. It's always kind of amazed me that they'll want to continue to develop in a desert area, but then not give water to the farmers, right? People say, oh, well, almonds are the most water intensive crop. Right.
Yeah, but a lot of those almond people have riparian rights for that water more than anybody else.
That, and it is a business. So I mean, if you're going to plant a crop that produces the most money, you do almonds, right? So it's just an argument that's come up recently. But
I just say, hey, if you own the land and you have the water rights to the land, don't tell me how I can use it. But what's worse than that is one of some of the new laws is they are now, if you have a well, they were going to start hitting you for how much water you take out of your well.
Yeah.
Right. Just like it's like, it's my water. It's my water. Why are you hitting me for my water?
I'm sure those will make it to court. Right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Lord willing.
Yeah. Hopefully. But that stuff takes years. Look at some of the, new laws that come in and then they get fought, but they still keep going forward on them by the time. But anyway, enough about the laws.
Okay.
Because there's a few that are allowing people to have first look. I don't know if you saw our yesterday's show, first look at. So the foreclosure laws now that when a company takes it back, they can't sell it off in a group of 2 or more to REITs and other places. They have to put it on the market and first 30 days give it to an individual who might live there, right? Have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And they won't be on the courthouse steps anymore.
Gotcha.
So that way more individuals can buy the foreclosed properties instead of having these conduits to other places.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So that was good. That was one good law.
Yeah.
Then there's another one where you can turn commercial into residential building without making it a big deal, where before they couldn't. So like the Longs building could be turned into little condos or whatever, but I mean, it's not that big on McHenry, but stuff like that, right? A commercial area could be turned into units or something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can say normally, like, historically zoning around here hasn't really been a big deal because we've had, plenty of space to build, residential homes, right? But
but cost effectively, where you have some of these empty buildings are going to be empty for a while because we don't really need them. We need more warehouse than anything else. And a lot of these buildings, like I can't say, because was brought up by Safe Mart or some of those empty buildings. Well, I don't know how you turn that into anything other than a store, right? Who wants to live next to a, ice cream shop? I understand downtown above them and stuff like that. That's different. That's mixed use. You could do mixed use. Maybe we start doing mixed use spaces instead of just commercial spaces.
Yeah.
Like they used to, like downtown.
Exactly. Going back to the way it used to be, right? That makes sense.
Yeah. That would mean more, okay, there's a store downstairs and then a bunch of people living upstairs. That's how it should be all over. And that would allow more places to be built that way.
Yeah.
But you still got to spend the money and build them. It's very expensive right now. Unfortunately, because I have a lot of people come to me, okay, we want to buy land and build on it. I go, you don't understand how expensive that's going to be. It's cheaper to buy the house already there. Just go buy that house. But it's not exactly what we want it. Remodel it. It would be cheaper overall. And you would not have all the new laws that you have to deal with. The solar, the sprinkler systems, all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Most people, until they start looking into it, they don't realize how much it costs. So if you can take advantage of somebody who already spent the money and the time, especially getting utilities out there.
Oh, that's huge. Because a pole is 30 grand for PG&E if you're up in Tuolumne and stuff like that. At least 20 a pole. Yeah. And most places need like 3 to 5 poles. Yeah. So you spend a lot of money just getting your utilities there. Yeah. A lot of people go off grid. Well, the problem with that is the batteries are 5 to 10 grand and they don't work as well as they could. Right. So there's just so many things because I looked into it all. And if you're off grid, the other issue is now you have to have these sprinklers in your house, that you have to have this well and this extra tank and this backup generator. It just gets so expensive.
They figured out a way to squeeze blood out of a turnip, right?
Well, just in order, it's the whole sprinkler system you have to have. It makes no sense at all because everything else is going to burn around there. And your house didn't burn, but you got such water damage, you're going to have to rebuild anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done bitching. All right, that was my take on. So, we don't have much except till Friday regarding the bond market to what can make changes really in rates. Because ever since the thing last week, which was the new stimulus bill, kind of messed up the mortgage market. The other way to go, the opposite way, would be Friday's job report. If that comes in, weaker than they expected, meaning that more people lost jobs, right? That kind of stuff. Not the creation that they thought they were making.
Yeah, I've been kind of curious to see where the sectors that where we're losing jobs too, right? Because it seems like it's been like the tech industry.
Tech's big time. Our industry is big time. A lot of the mortgage companies out there getting bought up and closed and this and that. And
yeah, maybe explain that a little bit because I'll claim to be uninformed as far as how that goes.
What do you mean? What goes?
Well,
so there was a huge reverse mortgage company that went under.
Yeah.
And then the Fed came in and picked up those loans. And when I mean Fed, I mean the FHA, those people, because they're most of those were handled by FHA. So they took over the servicing, but it's expensive to originate. There's only so many loans. So if there's 4 transactions, there's probably a loan on only 2 of those.
Gotcha.
If that, right. And you think about how many real estate agents are in an area, there's just as many lenders. Yeah. So if we're closing, say we're closing 500 deals a month and there is just 2,000 loan officers, that's not a lot if you're lucky to get a deal every other month, right? So you got to really know what you're doing. And we had a lot of people in the industry, but we had such a volume. In the 2 years of 2020 and 2021, the amount of loans we did during that period of time is usually what we did in 10 years. And so we needed so many people to help with that you don't need now. And that's the problem.
Now, some of those outfits, were they kind of expecting that? Were they thinking like, hey, this is kind of like a pop-up and once the business starts to dry up, we just kind of pull up stakes or what?
Some, but then some thought it was going to keep going because nobody thought rates were going to go so fast up. Yeah. Right. That was the issue. And that all had to do with our government, which we just keep talking about. The spending of our government is what's messing up our market. The Fed is trying to stop inflation and the government is trying to keep it. No, okay, they're just coming up with these plans, 1.7 trillion, because I need to put my name on a building, so I need 600 million for that. Can I get it right now? Sure, you can, because no one's going to look at the 4,300 page book.
Yeah. So my question has always been, if the average person can understand what they're doing wrong, Why don't they?
Because they don't care.
Like I say, so either it's ignorance or it's malice, right?
Well, right now they're like, okay, this is my chance to get this done. No other time in history will I be able to. Going forward, my chances as of now, with the House changing hands, all that thing wouldn't have passed. Because the amount of people they would need, you're not going to have now.
Yeah. So basically say, hey, this won't be popular, so let's just go ahead and get it
through. Well, yeah. And then the Republicans who said, yeah, I'll vote for it as long as I get this. Look at the stuff. It's ridiculous what they're spending money on. Yeah. And it's our money, meaning taxpayers' money that you pay into it. And that's what they forget. They're supposed to be working for us, but they think they control us. And I'm not trying to get political, but that's kind of how, if you really look at it, you kind of feel that way. And a lot of people are feeling that way, but they haven't done anything yet, meaning that voters haven't done anything yet because they haven't felt the pain because they keep getting all this money. Yeah. Right. And then wait. Your kids are going to pay for that, and your kids' are going to keep paying for this huge deficit. And as rates go up, that just means more and more money they need to pay for all this stuff.
I remember during the bailouts, like after the financial crisis, people just saying like, look, our great grandkids are going to be paying, for this.
And it's worse now. They spent more in the last 2 years than they spent in probably the last 20 presidencies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, my budget's gone. The whole statement is, and just what they're saying, I have that book around here, How to Lie with Statistics, and that's what they're doing right now. And we don't need this money sent to everybody anymore. We don't need it. We don't need to pay for people not to work. They were saying between the age of 25 and 45, there's so many of the young guys who aren't working at all, or not even looking for work.
Really?
Yes.
Lazy bums.
Well, they're just out of the industry and they're not coming back. They're not going to do it. They don't have to. They've been getting paid not to do anything.
Well, and I'll tell you, as someone who used to hire employees, if I had, 2 applicants and wanted to work all the way through, through COVID and everything like that, and I see this guy who's been unemployed for 2 years, I'm going to pick the one that kept working, right?
Well, I mean, that's the issue is, because they have the skills, they didn't lose anything, right? That's what you're talking about, right?
Well, and mostly that they had the,
I know,
the fortitude to keep working, right?
Right.
Instead of taking the handout.
I know, but a lot of people did, and they still are, and that's the problem. We're setting up people who don't want to work, and we have 11 million jobs still available that are not getting filled. And no other time in history do we have that many jobs available for people. Yeah. So the positive thing is, if you lost your job, you can go out and get another one. The question is, can you get out and get another one with the same pay or more pay? Uh-huh. And that's why a lot of clients I talk to, I tell them, okay, you don't make enough right now. You need to make this. So go look for get a different job.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you're a nurse and you're only getting this, there's a lot of other nursing jobs for the same. Will pay you more for that because they need you. Right.
Yeah.
If they have you, they don't need you. I don't know. Just keep looking for a job to get more money so you can own a home, because you're going to need that. This home, you need to make almost $100,000 a year now to buy an average home. And that, so in the Bay Area, you need 260,000. So double that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people make that, not a problem. But if you're in San Francisco and you make 125 or 130 a year, you can get food stamps.
I know it's so crazy how different California is.
Well, it's just expensive everywhere. We don't have it. And people are like, affordable housing. How do we get affordable housing? Build more housing.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. It's just build more housing. If you build more housing, it won't go up as much.
Yeah.
The appreciation won't go up.
We have a scarcity problem, right?
Right. And we're so short on homes. We need to build a lot, and people still don't get that. And that's why we're not having a bubble. I know today's show is supposed to be about something else, but we kind of just keep going on about this.
Right,
but
that's what happens.
There is no bubble coming. We're so short on homes. We're going to see these prices go up again very soon here. Some people have been getting deals over the last 3 months because people didn't know where it's going. And you have the stuff like this with our government's doing with money that's messing it up. Well, investors are buying it up. And every time anything comes up, they're buying. So if they're buying, you need to be buying.
Yeah. Yes. And just for buyers and for sellers, the simplest solution to all this mess that, they've created with higher interest rates, just start right out of the gate, just going with the rate buy down. Mm-hmm. Let's get that rate down to a place where, mentally you're willing to pay that. And where, because people historically have seen them lower the last 2 years. So that's what they're thinking of. Right. Mm-hmm. And they're thinking, well, I'm going to wait until the rates drop again. Let's just do the rate buy down. Sellers are understanding now. I'm happy to explain it to any buyers out there. It's the easiest way to get in home. I mean, it's a simple solution. People think the real estate market's complex. It's just, how much can I borrow this money for?
No, you're right. I mean, but again, don't go too crazy with that, because you're going to be refinancing in a year anyway.
Yeah.
We're not going to see, I don't think we're going to see 3 and below again. That's just my opinion. I hope they come. But in order for that to happen, we have to be in a real hurt. Follow me?
Yeah.
Like a recession, a bad recession, where we don't have 11 million jobs. We have a negative. We don't have any jobs available, and we have more people looking than jobs available. We don't have that right now. And until we get to someplace like that, I don't see them that low. So I'm still thinking high 4s, high 5s, and those are still great rates. We're in the 6s right now, anywhere between, I'm just throwing out there what Fannie Mae said last week, 6 1/4, 6.375. The thing with that is there's some points in that. And I've been hearing people, I want 5.5. Oh, so do I. You can get it if you want to pay for it, but it's not going to be what we call par rate, which doesn't cost for that rate. But why spend 2 points right now if you don't need to? Just cover all your regular closing costs, and then just, save your money for the difference in the payment for a little while.
Yeah.
So you can refinance. That's the best way to do it. But we'll do it any way you need it done. Right. If you want it bought down to that, through a 2-1 buy down, 3-1 buy down, we can do that. So whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
Right. All right. That's all I have for today.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the other thing on Thursday.
Okay. Sounds good.
And that's what we're going to talk about on Thursday.
So contingency removal for loans.
Okay. We can talk about it on Thursday. All right, everybody, make it a great day. Thanks for watching. Bobby, thanks for being here.